So welcome to Beyond Hustle podcast. We already did an episode before, and today we're talking about the power of compound interest, the role of compound interest in our journey as an entrepreneur. So I have with me Joel Osamudiamen. He will tell us about himself later. He's a businessman, he's a business coach, he's a public speaker, and when he gets to share about himself, you'll know more, okay? So one thing I always tell people is that if you don't quit, you win. But a lot of people don't understand where that statement came from. When somebody just blows up, the way we like to put it, blow, or more for a guy, you don't blow. One of the people says that, this guy just lucky. There's nothing like luck in this entire success game. I like to call it a game, right? There's nothing like luck because that guy you said, this guy just blew. That guy has been grinding for so many years. The problem is that you did not know him when he was grinding. And a lot of people want to focus on the blowing that they forget the process behind the blowing. So welcome, Joel. Can you please tell us about yourself?
Okay, I am Osamudiamen Joel. I'm a public speaker, like you said, a business coach. I'm an entrepreneur as well. I've actually been in this game since like 2017. Okay, 2017 was when I started learning and all that, but I did not really do anything substantial until 2018. And I actually began with graphic design and video animation creation. And then I made my major headway from 2019. Yeah, that's when I made anything you can call serious money, right? So I've always known, maybe due to my upbringing, that you don't blow. You have to grow in order to make it, right? So when I started, I was already playing the long-term game. I gave myself 5 years. Yeah, I gave myself 5 years to get to a particular height. And as I started out, there were people who, of course, started out with me, but they were looking for a thing that they would do that within a few months or a few weeks they would have made a lot of money. I wasn't playing that game, and at the same time, I knew where I wanted to be. I knew what I wanted to do, but I also did not have the resources then to go where I wanted to go. So what I did was to learn skills, little skills, and then I compounded those skills, or should I say I utilized those skills to pay for the skills I needed, right? So I did not have the resources to get the skills I needed. So the ones that were available to me, I used them to be able to get to the place that I wanted to get to, right? I'm still not there yet, but at least I've made, substantial progress. So now let me talk a bit about, business coaching. I run a program, and in that program, you might be shocked, but the participants of that business coaching circle, it's actually a mentorship program, and they pay $5,000 yearly. Now, those people who are paying that money, right? Those people who are paying that money got to know me because I was posting.
Sure.
Right? They got to know me because I was posting, and I did not stop posting even when nobody was giving me a dime. I just kept on posting my knowledge out there. So this a concept I want to talk about that is called compounding your presence, right? So you are starting out online. Let's say you want to start online as a sales coach. I'm saying sales coach because of what you're now doing, right? So you want to start as a sales coach, and nobody has hired you once for your craft. Nobody has hired you once to sell something for them or to teach them how to sell. What you have to do is to make videos or create. Or if you can't make videos, of course, just create written content and keep on posting and posting. The more you are in people's faces, the more they'll remember you, and the more they remember you, when they have that need for that thing that you are into, you will be the first person that they'll look up to. But when you are not there, you only come once in a while, right? And then you are complaining of not having money. You are complaining that this your skill or this your hustle is not paying. It is simply because you are actually not showing up as you should. Now, when they talk about compounding, everybody's mind goes to money. But compounding, I've seen compounding be benefits of compounding play its role in a lot of areas of my life, both from social media presence and all what. As a matter of fact, my first public speaking gig was in 2021, I think April 13th. And for a first official public speaking gig, I actually was lined up with very amazing speakers. Talking about Dahosa, CEO of Lapo, CEO of Transformative. And the reason why I got that, apart from, that I've been putting myself out there, was because when they asked me for my social media handles, there were things substantial that they could see to say, oh, this guy is actually good at what he does, or this guy is actually the right fit for the job. But if I was there losing hope that, oh, nobody recognizes me as a public speaker, and I don't put out good content, then nobody would still know me. Because when they go through my social media resume, because that is actually what it is now, when they go through my social media resume, they would see anything. But because I've been compounding, when the opportunity presented itself, the whole thing just blew up. Right? The whole thing just blew up. Then let's go to money. Yeah, I think this is everybody's favorite part. So let's go to money. You make a little profit of whatever it is you're doing. Let's say, for instance, you are selling what's the trending thing now?
Milky donuts.
Okay, so you're selling Milky donut. Let's say you're selling it for 1.5. I don't know how much it costs. Let's say you're selling it for 1.5 per piece, and your profit there is, let's say, 100 naira. Let's just say it's 100 naira. I wanted to make it 500, but that would be a very large margin. But let's just say your profit is 100 naira, right? You sell 50 pieces. So out of the 50 pieces, your profit is, okay, let's make it full number so that this math will be easier, right? So let's say the Milky donuts cost 1,000 naira and your profit is 100 naira. So if you sell 50 donuts, that means your profit is 5,000 naira.
Yeah.
Right? The profit is 5,000 naira. So that 5,000 naira now, how many donuts are in there? We have 5 donuts there. So you can keep the 5,000 naira, right? Let's say you want to venture into something else. Of course, you don't want to get some Forbes list by selling Milky donuts. So you keep the 5,000 naira aside. The remaining 45, you reinvest it back in the business. You get another 5,000 naira profit. You keep it aside and keep on doing it. Maybe you might not have enough to own a milk factory, but maybe you can now buy from the profits that you kept aside. You can now buy a truck that can be supplying your Milky donuts all over the city for a start, right? But if you hadn't compounded, either maybe you kept eating your profits, or you kept reinvesting everything back inside without setting anything aside, then you will have a lot of Milky donuts, but you will not have what it would take to distribute it all over the city and make even more money, right? So compounding, to me, is about saving the future now, right? I am saving the future right now. So what do I have right now? What am I making right now? I keep a side apart, leaving it aside for the future. Because even if you keep compounding money, no matter how much money you say you want to compound, the essence of compounding money, or the essence of even making money, right, is so that you can spend it.
Sure.
Right? It's so that you can spend it. So it is just me hedging my future, basically. Right? It's just me hedging my future. Mr. Fortune said something about you don't blow, you grow. The people that you see that blow are people who have been at the background for a very long time, right? Now, he doesn't know this, and this is probably the first time I'm going to be telling him this, but I actually knew him since 2020, right? But we met 2021. And how did I get to know him? This shouldn't be on the record, but I actually got to know him through one of my exes, who happened to be a mentee of his, right? And even then, I admired his work ethic and organization. He he had this group. I don't know if it's still existing, but he had this group where people, I think every day they come to share lessons and stuff like that. I don't remember how the whole thing found out, but they come and share lessons, discuss business stuff and stuff. And then I did not really know him except through her, right? So it's no surprise that 2021, 2022, even till date, he's making a lot of money. One, he has a lot of people around him, both mentees and all that. So, and number three, it's no surprise that he's getting a lot of, speaking gigs, a lot of collaborations and all that, because he has actually started this thing a long time ago, even when people did not really know him, right? Even when people did not really know him. So, like it or not, the person you're admiring right now has from scratch.
A behind the scene process.
A behind the scene process. There's a lady who reached out to me. I've known her since 2019, and she admires my entrepreneurial success, all thanks to God. And she was talking in the line of starting a business, and she has actually started, I think, 2 businesses that I will not say those businesses failed. I would rather say she failed, because she's always talking about she wants to start something, anything that works for her, she will, she moves on. And I'm like, you have to make this thing work for you, but she doesn't want to hear what I have to say. She's just looking for me to give her money so that she can waste my money, and I don't have that money to waste. Right? So as she's talking about all that, I'm telling her, this person you're admiring, this is how I started. I've told her my story over and over again, but still she just feels, since I have the money, I should give it to her, right? And she doesn't want to start small. She starts selling clothes online, and then I'm like, okay, these are the ways you can make your business better. And the next thing, she's like, how much did the clothes this thing sell?
They always write off.
They always write it off. How much did the thing sell? I'm like, you have to start somewhere. You are there waiting for destiny helper. Maybe she even thinks I'm a destiny helper, and by the grace of God, I know I'm not, right? But she's waiting for one destiny helper to come and slap her with 1 million naira, right? But even if your destiny helper comes, they have to see that you are diligent.
Sure.
We had the last conversation we had. She said that if she has some kind of substantial amount of money like this, she'll just start 7 businesses at once, and then the one that works for her, she will then push all her resources there.
7 businesses at once.
Businesses at
None
once.
of them will work out now.
Even me, I have not tried that. 7 businesses at once, and then she'll be wondering why things are not working out. You never stay on something long enough for you to start reaping rewards, and then you are complaining that it's not working. You don't start something today and blow. Even people's president, Emilokon, he has been vying for that seat for a very long time. For a very long time. He has been compounding. Let me not say corruption, but then he has been compounding stuff. He has been putting things in place. So at the time when he finally stepped forward and made his intentions known, it was not luck that he got it. It wasn't luck. He has already put things in place for years, and he has put other presidents in power. So it is not luck that he says he wants to become president, and he says why. You ask him why, he says because it's my turn, and then you not think that he's not going to win.
It's like a Tinubu fan.
I'm not. Obedience.
You'll be hyping him.
I'm not, but I have to give the man credit.
I said that to save you, because a lot of people were going to.
Okay. No, not for once. I'm an obedient, but
I admire his intelligence actually, and his community of people that he has built over time. The people he invests into, the people he made who they are, and all that. That's actually something that
he invested. Then when he say, "Oh, I want to reap I want my ROI now," we just hand it to him.
Definitely, because the ROI is even less than 2% of what he has
actually. So, if you want to reap anything in this life, you have to practice compounding, right? You have to practice compounding. You put in the hours, you put in the resources, and just do everything that you have to do. Not that you start today and you make one big move, and then at the end of the day, you feel that because of that one big move you made, you are entitled to stuff. Making, or should I say, making huge waves and huge relapses will get you nowhere. If you keep making little waves, it will actually get you to places faster than making a huge wave and then a huge relapse as well, right? Because I know that there are some people who prefer to just boom, put in a lot of effort, put in a lot of work, instead of let's say making, okay, I know Fortune does sales calls. So instead of making, let's say, 5 sales calls a day, they'll just pick one day and make, let's say, 50, right? They make 50, and then they are wondering why they are not good at closing sales, right? They're wondering why they are not good at closing sales. It is consistency. It is compounding. As you keep on compounding, you get to know, okay, this is a mistake I made, this is what I did. But when you just put in a lot of effort at once, not like it's a bad thing, but if you are putting a lot of effort at once, you should have follow-up efforts, right? But doing a lot and, not doing a lot at the same time will take you nowhere. If you want to do anything, keep doing it, right? Just keep doing it. That's all I have to say. Over to Mr. Fortune.
All right, I have a lot of things to say, but then I will kick off with chess analogy because I happen to be a chess player. And one of the things I noticed about chess, when I began studying chess, I didn't notice it until my Elo rating went up. And then I realized that most time, all it takes for you to actually win a game is by ensuring that you don't make as much mistakes as your opponent. So it means that if my opponent should make 1 or 2 inaccuracies and then maybe a blunder, then I have an opportunity to win the game. And so it made me realize that the reason why we lose out in life is because we make little mistakes that don't look like it. And so it's easy to ignore those little mistakes because it doesn't look like a blunder yet. So for instance, now let's say I'm playing a chess game and I'm supposed to move a pawn this way and then I move it the other way. It looks as if, okay, it's a normal move, but then it's not a normal move. Because if you are playing against a pro player, just because you moved it that place, you are going to lose the game. So it also made me realize that every time you see somebody have this big success, it's actually a compilation of small efforts.
Yeah.
There's nothing like big success.
Yeah.
It's just the result of small effort. So I was talking to my mentor one day and then she told me one thing. She said that everything you do in life is piling up somewhere. Every single effort you make at your goal, every single thing you do, every time you make a sales call, every time you hit your to-do list, she said it's piling up somewhere. Yeah. And when the cloud be full of rain, it will empty itself. And that was the day I got to understand that scripture very well, that when the cloud is full of rain, it will empty itself. Now, a lot of people want rain to pour when they've not, put a lot of things in their cloud and all that. So I began my journey in 2016. I came into the internet 2016, November 16th.
The old person.
And when I came online, I saw a space I could enter. Yeah. Because I realized that a lot of people had passion, but not many were disciplined enough to stay true.
Yeah.
And one of the things people were doing then was that they love this whole thrill that comes with intensity. I uploaded 30 videos in one day. Yeah. That's trash. I would rather upload a video every day than upload 30 videos in one day.
Yeah.
And so a lot of people had nice ideas. They had good goals. They were very intense. But what they lacked was consistency.
Yeah.
And I like to put it this way. The proof that you're actually disciplined is that you are consistent.
That's
anything you don't do long enough, I can say you did it out of motivation. Discipline starts where motivation ends.
Yeah.
And so when I started 2016, one of the things I did was I made a commitment that no matter how busy my day is, I will watch one YouTube video every day. November 2016 till date, I have not missed one day. No matter how terrible my day is, I must watch a YouTube video. And then it looked as if I was wasting my time until I began to see the result of one video per day. I would rather grow 1% every day, and after the year, I've grown 365% than to grow 10% every month. Now, when you grow 10% every month, end up in 120%,
Yeah,
and 365%, meaning that I am close to being 4 times better than I started the year.
Yeah.
And so I realized that what it takes to actually beat your rivals is just staying long in the game. If you stay long enough, you outlast everybody.
That's true.
If you stay long enough in anything, you outlast anybody.
That's true.
And so people want results, but they don't want to put in effort. And when I started in secondary school, I used to be I was very notorious. Whenever you write names of Nnamdi, my name is not there, they flog you. Any of my classmates who is watching this video, they will attest to that fact. As a matter of fact, the next S2 I was expelled 4 times in 2 months. And because of that notoriety, I began to become popular in the school. And when I was done with secondary school, the first question I asked myself is, I talk a lot. How can I channel this talking?
Yeah.
And so I realized that, okay, I can learn public speaking. So I began to buy books. I think the first public speaking book I read was The Art of Public Speaking by Dale Carnegie. And then I read How to Talk to Anyone, Anywhere, Any Day by Larry Kings. He's late now. I think he was a CNN guy. And then I kept on reading public speaking books. I remember there, one of the major things I did was, I happened to be a member of Ken Carter's Youth Foundation. And we had this opportunity, if you want to do special presentation, you write your name. Yeah. So what I did there was, I didn't know how to speak in public. I was a talkative, but then I was shy. So what I did there was, I learned in that Art of Public Speaking book that the best way to learn how to do public speaking is by actually doing public speaking.
Yeah.
So if I want to learn how to talk, I have to talk to learn how to talk.
Yeah, exactly.
So I said I was going to challenge myself. Every Sunday for 1 year, I did a special presentation. I was the only person in KKYF that did it. Every Sunday for 1 year. I wouldn't know what to say. I would just do special presentation. Spontaneous. And one day, I now realized that people are always watching you. You just did not notice.
Yeah, that's true.
So I remember that particular Sunday, a lady, Deborah Ocheja, she was the one that was supposed to moderate. She was supposed to anchor that particular service. And nobody wrote their name on the list. So there was nobody for special presentation. And they needed somebody to fill up. So somebody just stopped me. Brother Fortune, you are going up next. I said, going up for what? I didn't write my name. Said, we know you always have something to say. You are the person going up next to go and talk. And so it now dawned on me that, when people are not clapping for you, they're actually not seeing you.
Yeah.
And if you can stay at it long enough, one day people will surely see you. And when we talk about compound interest, I tell people that the biggest gigs I've ever gotten was as a result of staying in the game long enough. And I always like to put it this way: when people pay 1,000 naira to teach them more than 10,000 naira worth of knowledge.
Yeah.
So for the fact that you pay me 1,000 naira does not mean I should give you 1,000 naira worth of knowledge. And all my big clients that I've ever gotten in life, majority of them came from a 1,000 naira class.
Wow.
I remember the first person that paid me $1,000. He happened to come from my 1K class. No, like the first person that paid me 5,000.
He changed his sign. he changed
the naira to dollars. The first person that paid me $5,000 happened to come from my 30,000 naira class.
Wow.
And so I now got to realize that more people really they watch. The problem is that we don't know how to do what we are doing.
Yeah.
And so let me put it this way: I grew up not liking to read. I hated to read. In fact, because of natural brilliance, I could not read a book and then I would pass very well in school. And as a result of that, I felt reading book was nonsense. So I later got to realize that, okay, I need to read books. And one of the things I do whenever I want to smash a new goal is I challenge myself and then I set a realistic target.
Yeah.
I challenge myself, then I set a realistic target, just like watching one YouTube video every day. So I said, okay, I want to buy one book every month. I want to buy one book every month. So I bought one book every month and I said, I want to buy 5 books every month. Let me see if the sun will rise from the west. I started buying 5 books every month. And before you know what was going on, I started reading books. And one of those things that began to happen to me was I realized that it was second nature for me to generate ideas. So to an average person, for a guy, how you think they generate idea fast? I am leveraging on other people's knowledge.
And knowledge, yeah.
So what people tend to forget is that, okay, there's something my mom always tells me in pidgin. She say, now waiting person no know, immediately pass out. I'll say it again. Now waiting person no know, immediately pass out. Meaning that everything your friend knows can be learned. How do I know? None of us was born with knowledge.
Yeah.
I remember in my 100 level, I was doing PSC 112, philosophy and logic, and it said, man at birth is in a state of tabula rasa, meaning a clean slate. If none of us was born with knowledge, it means we all learned everything we know.
Yep.
And as a result of that, if I want to learn what you know, I need to know the sacrifice you paid to learn.
Yeah.
So I was teaching my students, and I told them that you can get anything you want to get, but you need to know the price you have to pay for what you want to get. So if I want to make ₦1 million today, the first thing I ask myself is, what price do I need to pay? Who do I need to know? What kind of information do I need to access? How many hours a day do I need to work? A lot of people are interested in 1 million, but they are not interested in the work that produces 1 million.
Exactly. Exactly.
So when I think your story reminded me of mine. So when you were saying it, I was kind of going back into time. When I started my public speaking journey, nobody invited me. In fact, Nnamdi dey beg, how far I want teach. My guy go on do WhatsApp class, how far I beg, I want teach. And then it got to a point where I think one of my proteges hosted an event in Abakaliki. And so he called me, I think Entrepreneurs Hangout, and I was supposed to go teach there. I thought I delivered everything I needed to deliver. I didn't know that one of the participants happened to be the host of a mega event in Abakaliki.
Wow.
And then I think 6 months down the line, I got a call. Are you Mr. Fortune Nnamdi? I said yes. He said, well, my name is this, and we are looking to invite you. I was actually one of the persons who sat in this particular training, and you taught very well. And as a result of my delivering above what was expected, I happened to be on the same lineup with Peter Obi when he was an aspirant.
Wow.
I happened to be on the same lineup with, I just don't want to mention some names. And for the first time, it was beginning to look like it.
Yeah.
Now, what I also got to realize is that most times, you don't need speed to win a race.
Mm-hmm.
You only need to keep running.
Yeah.
Because the guy who is running with speed, if he gets tired, I can overtake him.
Tortoise and the hare.
Exactly the story that came to my mind. So a lot of people want to be that guy who is running fast. No, speed without direction is wrong.
Yeah.
When you are running with speed, see, let me put it this way: speed in the wrong direction is dangerous. You are just going to crash land. So what is more important than speed is knowing what direction to run towards. So if you are watching this video, what I want you to do is, I want you to realize that although it doesn't look like it's certainly piling up somewhere. Every 1 page you read is adding up. Every 1,000 naira you make is adding up. So I came up with a principle that was 2 years ago. I would like to put in the 1,000 naira principle. I realized that 1,000 naira is very, very significant. In fact, it takes just 1,000 naira to break into the 1 million naira realm. And it takes 1,000 naira to go back into the other realm. So if I have 999,000, I need 1K to be $1 million naira rich.
Yeah.
And so I realized that the money people carelessly throw away the most is actually 1,000 naira. Okay, after waiting on by collect. And you won't know when you've given out 500, 1,000 naira.
Actually.
Because it's just 1,000 naira. Take. Half an a guy, I know like the way where you take a franc, collect 1K. You go buy Hollandia, collect 1K. And before you realize what's going on, you have actually become 500,000 naira poorer.
Yeah.
But the problem is that it did not look like it when you were giving out 1,000 naira. So one thing you need to realize is that everything adds up, every single thing. And I don't know how to put it. Little drops. Somehow it's just always going to add up. So let me ask the question real quick. What was that defining moment for you? Where it looked as if or more, you know, that when you blow, even you shock, say you blow. I blow, but I don't expect this kind of blow and stuff like that.
Ah, man. Okay. I think I know how to navigate this. Okay, I think that was 2021. 2021 March or April. Yeah, 2021 March or April. In 2021 March or April, I just, I saw some money somewhere. I don't want to divulge, but as at that time, it was in dollars though, and it was quite a good amount of money. What you know, what I'm talking about. But then it was quite a good amount of money, and when I saw it, I was like,
Yeah.
we die here. I literally, that is literally how I was. I was like, if this can give me this,
Yeah. I can relate.
And
Oh,
for like, I think 3 to 6 months, every night I was just walking around the clock, I actually broke down because I was walking. Like, I've seen this money, it's sitting pretty.
I like that word. Sitting pretty.
But I was like, oh, there's more here. There's more here. This is not all there is, right? And then I just kept on going. But before 2021, I remember I've actually always been an A student from primary school. I was always second, and the only reason why I was always second was because I did not like maths. I wasn't good at maths. The day I got 35 over 100 in mathematics, I literally ran home to tell my dad that I scored 35 because my normal score was 15. But every other subject, I get 100 over 100. And the guy who was getting first wasn't even getting up to 100 over 100 or getting 70 and all that. But because of that maths. Right, so it was until 2015 before I really even knew what I was doing. And funny story, when I got into SS1, I was offering further maths, and I was the best further maths student, but I was still the worst maths student.
How?
When I tell you, I don't know how. When I tell you that, it's crazy. I was the best further maths student. I think I was getting B2 or B3, and the next person after me was, I think, C6. It was that large a gap, but I was still the worst maths student. I got a P in my WAEC, my junior WAEC. Yeah, I got a P in maths because I just struggled. I just struggled to pass, right? But as we progressed, I got better at maths and all that, and I got better at everything. Basically, I was one of the science students in Benin City in 2016. So 2016, I wrote my jam.
Whoa.
And then when I was getting into school, I told my dad, I said, I know what it would take me to give you a first class, and I'm not going to give you a first class. I'll give you 2-1, because if I'm going to get a first class, which means I would not do the things that I want to do, right? I've always known that I was going to be a business person. I was already handling the family business from like 7 years old. When I say handling, not totally, right, but I was handling the financial aspect since I was like 7. So I already knew that I was business inclined. I was the best in business studies, even though I was the worst in math, but I was always the best in business studies, right? So I knew I was going to go into business. I was going to venture into business, but I did not know how. I did not even know what I was going to do, but I knew I was going to venture into business, right? So I told my dad, I'm not going to give you first class. I'm going to give you 2-1 because I'm a businessman, and I cannot wait for 4 years before I start doing what I want to do. Time doesn't wait for anybody. And she was like, of course, I've come parents. Why? This, that. I said, sir, it's my life. Right? It's my life. And then I started out in the worst way. I started out with Ponzi. Because when I say Ponzi, it's not like I knew it was Ponzi. What is the name of that?
Rackstally, MMM.
Before Rackstally and MMM, there's one that came out like that. My hard-earned 5K. I used
I
it.
think the name they come my head. Charity, some charity. I've been awaiting.
It's not that one. There's one like that. So by one Mr. Paul or so, I think. So I was literally serving tables. I was in my father's house, but I'll go out to all these weddings, burial stuff. I'll serve tables. They'll pay me 1.5. Sometimes the madam there will pay me 700, and sometimes we'll go as far as Sapler Road, and she will not give us transport. So from Sapler Road around 9 o'clock, I will literally be jogging back with my guys to Wasota in Benin City. I'll be jogging back. Yeah, I'll come back home sometimes past 10, 11. My dad is a Benin man. You are embarrassing me. He will lock me outside. And the next weekend, I'll still go again. And then I'll save up that money, I save up that money. That's what I used to buy my first graphic design course, my first, video editing course and video animation creation course. That's what I used for that other business, 5K, that, just went away like that. And I just kept on going. I did not really know what I was going to do, but I just kept on going. And then I stumbled on public speaking. A mentor of mine is a public speaker, but I've not really seen him, perform. But then I was watching and reading motivational stuff. I know about George Carlin, and then from George Carlin, I got to know about Brian Tracy, and then I stumbled on Busi Tembekwayo. And till date, Busi is the guy
of the Dragon's Den.
Busi was a person who inspired me. I don't even remember the year, maybe 2018 or 2017. But Busi was the person who then inspired me that, an African that can actually be a very good public speaker.
Yeah, and a businessman.
So I was like, okay, I think I found what I want to do. Right? So I just kept on, whatever, if you say, these are the skills you need for business or for public speaking, I'm getting it. If I can't afford it, what I can do right now, I will do it and save up so that I can afford the course, right? Or afford maybe an inner circle or whatever. I just kept on doing and pushing until date I'm pushing. So whatever it is you are doing, if you keep on compounding as you forge ahead, you will make it. Except your village people are very strong, but if not, you will make it.
There's even a limit to what they can do.
Yeah, actually.
So he said something, how that when he discovered something that was working for him, he started walking around the clock and he broke down. But I can relate with that story very, very well. And this is just an advice for you watching this video. When you find your passion or when you find something you want to do, sure, do it. But then you have to realize that now who they are like, they spend money. I have to say this because I walked around the clock like he said. In fact, I remember when I was learning web design, I was learning at w3schools.com. I was learning our tutorials points and many other websites. I was learning how to program and stuff. I kept on learning. I think I started with Nokia C1, and then I was using my mom's Nokia X2. I was using my dad's Asha 200 then, and if you know that developer, you know how hectic it was. So I was using it to learn programming.
Yeah.
Learning Java, Python, and all those many shenanigans until water began to come up from my eye. And so after several years, I now began to discover that naturally I don't forget things.
Yeah.
In fact, when I was in jam class, I had over 100 contacts memorized by heart. I still have them. I still have them in my head today. My roommate in Osasoge 2016, I have his contacts. Everybody in my house, I have like everything. And after some years, I began to realize that I was now beginning to forget things. And when I was writing JAMB, I was actually the best English student in the entire tutorial. We were close to 600 people. And I was not trying to say, what's going on? Only for me to realize that I was actually suffering from something called sleep deprivation. And that was just one effect. So I got to realize that with sleep deprivation comes lack of focus. Because at that time, I would pick up a book, I wouldn't be able to read past 5 pages. I was losing this focus and attention, and I was beginning to forget things.
Back headache.
God bless you, back headache. you understand? And there's this eye pain that comes with it also. And one thing you need to understand is that you need wisdom to spend money, and you need wisdom to live life. Even the Bible says wisdom is a defense.
Yeah.
So, in as much as you are pursuing your goals, please protect your health. There's something called sleep deprivation. You begin to lose focus, you begin to lose attention, your memory begins to go down the drain, your cognitive senses begins to drop, you become terribly dehydrated, and when it moves into a chronic state, you will now realize that you will need to sleep consistently for many weeks, if not months, to recover. Okay? Now, one other thing I need you to also understand is that if you can be disciplined in one aspect of life, it will transfer to other aspects of life. That's one. Two, if you can be good in one thing, you can be good in everything. I remember I happened to be a gamer. I started playing COD, Call of Duty 2019. One of the things I realized being a gamer did for me was made me learn anything fast. There's no game I play I don't play well.
That's why you beat me.
No, I beat you 9 in FIFA, no problem. Like I moved, I began to learn chess. I moved from the beginning Elo rating to 1007 in a couple of months. I began playing COD. I moved from level whatever to 350 legendary. I kept on piling these things up, and even down to Monopoly. Remember, there was a guy that said, "Oh my God, beating for Monopoly." I said, "Let's play." I ended the game with $8,000. So I now got to realize that with this increased learning speed came increased learning speed in other aspects of life. So I could speed read a book and then learn a lot of things and all that. Now, one other thing I began to experiment was when I have a couple of things to do, I don't do more than 3 major tasks a day. So when somebody is setting 10, 15, I don't give a damn. I'm just going to do 3 major tasks a day. That does not mean I'm not doing minor tasks, but it's not going to exceed 3. Now, I like to put it this way. Every single day you enter, you have a limited amount of energy to expend.
Yeah.
Every single day. There's an energy cap. You don't have all the energy to do everything you want to do.
That's good.
And so what I now begin to do is, what are the 3 things I am willing to channel my energy into? And so I do every single one of them. And this is how I like to put it. If I do 3 things every day for 1 year, I've done over 1,100 things successfully. Whoever can do 1,000 things every year for 5 years, you can't fail. There's no devil anywhere. You can't fail. So the problem is we tend to overestimate what we can do in a short time.
Yeah.
And then we tend to underestimate what we can do in the long run. The problem is that a lot of people are not playing the long-term game. And if you want to reap the dividends of compound interest, you will need to play the long-term game. So we are already at the end of this particular show. And I would like to ask Joel a question, and I would also answer the question. Now, I would like you to give them advice in 3 sentences. 3 sentences. Advice 1, this. Advice 2, this. Advice 3, this.
Okay. 3 advices. Advice 1, don't stop. Advice 2, mind who you are moving with. Right? That's on its own. Is
that one a long talk, like 3 hours talk.
Very long talk. Right? Then advice 3, okay, we're in social media age, mind what you consume, mind the content you consume.
Very important.
You can take in good food and then take bad food and you will fall sick. So because you're taking in good stuff doesn't mean that you'll be fine if you are also taking in bad stuff. So mind the content you consume. I restrict my following on all social media platforms. Right? There are some people who are entrepreneurs, there are some people who are public figures that I know personally, but when I look at their content on social media, they are not things that I need. So even though we are friends or we are acquainted, I don't follow them. And some of them actually hate me for that. You get, but before I click that follow button, you have to be serving me something I need. I'm that strict with it. So when I open my feed, I know what I'm going to be seeing. Right? I know what I'm going to be seeing. And I'm not saying what they're posting is bad. No, I'm saying it's just not for me. You get, it's just not for me. I'm not going to be, shout out to all ebook writers here, and all writers, literally. But I'm not going to open my feed because I want to learn Amazon KDP, for instance. Right? It's just not in line with me. It's not bad, but it's not in line with me. So even if something is good, if it's not in line with you, you actually should still ditch it. It's actually something I've thought a lot. Even if it is good, because it is good doesn't mean it is good for you. You look for what is good for you and stick with it. Let me not say too much.
Alright, so I have 3 advice for you. 1 is an advice I tell people. 1 is an advice my mom gave to me. And 1 is an advice a friend of mine gave to me. Number 1, if you don't quit, you'll win. And what that goes to say is that Sometimes all you need to outlast everybody running the same race with you is to just keep running. Now, number 2, an advice my mom gave to me. Now, waiting person no know in mates say they pass am. Implication, everything can be learned. Advice 3 is an advice a friend of mine gave to me, Bitcoin chief, guy is cheap crazy. He said that the race is not to be swift, neither is it to be strong, but then you have to be running to stand the chance.
Yeah.
The day he wrote that on WhatsApp status, I have to screenshot it. Implication, everything you are looking for can be yours if you keep pursuing it. But the day you stop running after it is the day you disqualify yourself from the mark.
Yeah.
So thank you for listening to us for this long, and we hope to share more content with you. Have a lovely night's rest.